Shabbat Shalom, family. Shabbat Shalom. I know it's after 6 o'clock here on the East Coast, but if we go to the other area, Shalom, my brother, GP Monks 831. How you doing now, my friend? So if y'all recognize the title, and as I was saying, like if you go back into a different time zone, it's still the Sabbath somewhere. I mean, so y'all forgive me. I had a rough week. I've been kind of moving all week. So I've been on my just a little tired. So I got a little extra rest today. But what's going on, Kenny? So I just want to talk a little bit about the rod of correction. It's also kind of going, and this is just me. I try to bring a message that where y'all have dealt with me on something, or where I just don't want to get up here and talk about something that I have not gone through. So I'd rather be able to express things that I went through, because if I bring it to you and then reveal scripture to you, then it opens your eyes to how YAH actually moves in our lives. So many people get up and preach and don't have a background to what they're preaching. They just preaching it just to try to get the crowd moving, or just trying to. So when I teach, I try to come from a level where I already got that understanding because I experienced it. I mean, so it's titled the rod of correction, because when we are found in error, we either will do one or two things. When we are found to be corrected, we will either quit and just stop completely, and then say that I'm gonna go revamp myself or recreate myself, or whatever the case is. When YAH is the one molding you, you shouldn't have to be recreated or remolded. The rod of correction gives you wisdom. It allows you to learn from that experience where you messed up at. And just as I said, once again, I'm gonna give thanks to my man GP Monks 831 for bringing that to my attention, where it caused me to look into the situation deeper. And so what I did was, as I looked, I realized, hey, I'm off. So I, just sitting here doing this, I kept hearing it earlier. I was asking what message to bring for the day on the Shabbat, and I just kept hearing about the rod of correction, because one thing that I've been doing is another thing the rod of correction will do is it'll make you pray harder. I mean, it'll put you into it. YAH knows how to humble his children. I mean, and sometimes we have to be brought to that lower state in order to be able to follow instruction. Because let's look at that word correction. I mean, and the Hebrew is musar. So what does that mean? It means chastening. It means reproof. Remember, in Hebrew, one word can represent several different words. I mean, so when you looking at this, you have to good Shabbat Shalom, phenomenal. What's up? So when you're looking at it, you have to look at it from different aspects of the way that YAH may see this. So chastening, reproof, discipline, punishment, instruction. So we have to be able to receive the instruction to gain wisdom. But we also have to be able to accept correction so that wisdom can be imparted to us. I mean, because without the wisdom part, then I mean, what good is it to even try to do this? Because if we're not doing it wisely, then we're doing it foolish. I mean, so let's look at Proverbs. In Proverbs, real quick, I'm gonna be in Proverbs a good amount today. I mean, so in Proverbs chapter 8, I'll put it up here, over here in the corner. Proverbs 8, 10 through 11. So that states right here, it says, receive my instruction and not silver, and knowledge rather than choice gold. For wisdom is better than rubies, and all the things that may be desired are not to be compared to it. So look at that right there. Like to receive wisdom is just a part of learning this walk is not to try to gain, is not to try to get what you can. So don't like when we get caught up with what the institution does, they have all these, they have what they call revivals to try to raise money, to try to do this, to try to do that. And so for so many years, Yah has been trying to correct his people, especially our people in the churches. He had been trying to correct them from the way that they walk. I'm gonna give you a testimony of mine. So some years back when my son was first born, he's 5 now. He wasn't even 1 year old yet, and I was still smoking weed. I was and I had on gave my life to Yah, but I was still smoking cigarettes and still drinking. And that was something that I said that I would stop doing, but I hadn't stopped yet. And so I was working at this place in Georgia where I was a lead there. I was making all right money, but one morning they said, "Hey, we need you to come do a random drug test." And I was just like, "Oh man, I'm probably gonna be messed up on that." So I went and did my normal thing where I went and gargled with the peroxide so I could try to pass the test or whatever. And the funny thing is, before I even go any further in this story, so in the month, and I can tell you the month that I heard it. So the month that I had the test was in May. In January, I heard Yah clear as day say, "Stop smoking weed." So you know how we do. We kind of, and I said this before, don't keep denying his voice, because then you treat it like the snooze button on your alarm, and once you might not have that 5-minute reset, you know what I mean, where it'll come back on again. And so now you just sleep on through it, So after I kind of ignored it the first time, I went on, kept smoking, kept doing, and then next thing you know, what happened was I ended up in April. I heard it again. So a month right before. So he said he does what? He warns before destruction. I mean, and so as he was giving me the info, I was still like denying his voice, not listening to him, or not being obedient, not following instruction. I mean, so when we don't follow instruction, it causes us a world of trouble with Yah. And he will bring it to our attention. I mean, it's up to us to listen though. So if he brings it to our attention that we don't listen, then guess what? He allow you to try to figure out how to get yourself out of it. I mean, and when you can't get yourself out of it, what are you gonna do? You're gonna turn to Yah. If you're wise, you're gonna turn to Yah. So okay, so I kept getting the test done, and they let me do it like 2 or 3 times. And I had been there for a while, so I knew the HR, but she was just finally like, "Wes, I can't, let this slide. I'm gonna have to take you to get a urinal." So I already knew if I take a urinal, it's over. I'm not gonna be able to pass this test. And so we sitting there, I went home, took all this different type of stuff before I went, because they didn't track me and send me straight there because the place was still closed. I had to wait on the open, so I went home and tried to take all this different stuff. And regardless of what was gonna happen, y'all was putting me through a chastening period. And not only that, I want to say something. When you're going through your chastening period where Yah is correcting you and he's whooping you with that rod of correction, it helps you grow in faith. Because he took me on a faith journey. It was similar to going through when Moses and I had to go, when Moses ran away from Egypt after killing the Egyptian, and he went to Midian, and then Yah ended up sending him back. Because the funny thing is, like 2 years later, he sent me back to this place, and instead of me going back as a lead or a regular worker, he sent me back as a supervisor. So you kind of look at that was my Moses Chronicles. If any of y'all looked at my Abraham Chronicles, so I kind of went through a Moses experience there, where throughout them 2 years I struggled. Me and my family struggled. So now I'm looking at my children. I wasn't able to pay my child support. I wasn't able to take care of my children the way I was supposed to. I wasn't able to, the things that we needed. But I depended on Yah. I ended up moving out of my place, moved in with my brother, lived with him for about almost 2 years. And I mean, it's nothing worse than, having to humble yourself and go to people and ask for help. You know what I mean? So that was a chastening experience for me. So now when I hear y'all giving me correction, or I see it, confirmation coming from different ways, I learn, okay, let me stop and pay attention to what's going on, because I can't act like I don't know. Let me show you another scripture. If you go to Deuteronomy, Shabbat Shalom, sister. If you go to Deuteronomy chapter 11, verse 2. Deuteronomy chapter 11, verse 2. This is what it says. It says, and know ye this day, for I speak not with your children which have not known, and which have not seen the chastisement of Yahuwah Elohim, his greatness, his mighty hand, and his stretched out arm. See what I'm saying? He said, I speak with those I ain't speaking to those that do not know. I'm speaking to those that do know. And so we can't act like when we're being corrected that we don't know, because we have seen, especially if you have seen his power moving in your life, especially if you have seen where you have put your faith at display and then something happens behind it. You know what I mean? And so therefore, it's the same way when he gives us correction, we have to stop and pay attention. All right? It's the same way as if when you're in class, you know what I mean? And the teacher giving instruction, but if you sitting over there talking and playing, you ain't going to hear all the instructions. So when it's time to do the task at hand, you're going to be looking at one of your friends. What did he say, do? Do you remember what he said, do? You see what I'm saying? But by the time the test start happening, what happened? When the test happened, everybody has to be quiet. So anybody caught speaking is going to be what? Punished. And it's the same way we go through our tests. By the time we are trying to go through that trial and that tribulation, and we praying and we're not getting the answer was already given to you. But was you listening? Did you receive instruction? I mean, look what let's go back to Proverbs. Let's go back to Proverbs. Chapter 13. No, I'm sorry, 22. Proverbs chapter 22. Because receiving instruction is a big thing when you got me. All right. Proverbs chapter 22, verse 15. And here go in the title of the foolishness is bound in the heart of a child, right? Foolishness is bound in the heart of a child, but it says the rod of correction shall drive it far from him. The rod of correction will impart wisdom to him. I mean, look at go to Proverbs 29 and 15. Proverbs 29 and 15. Look what it says. It says, the rod and reproof give what? Wisdom. The rod and reproof give wisdom, but a child left to himself brings his mother shame. Now, skip over to verse 17. In the same chapter, it said, correct your son, and he shall give you rest, meaning that you shall find peace. What did it say? It said, yea, he shall give the light unto your soul. So when we are receiving that correction, that instruction, that chastisement, that reproof, and y'all sees you trying to fix it, y'all sees you trying to correct it. You see what I'm saying? It begins to bring the light to his soul. And it's the same way with us, with our children. And if you realize, that's why so many people are being led astray in the churches, because they're not going about the proper way of correcting when things are out of order. You see what I'm saying? And so therefore, it's just like, I mean, my apostle come on after that was the third witness. That's all I needed was to hear another witness just boom. And I was just like, my goodness, I'm being corrected. I'm being reproved. And now I have to go through the chastening period. You know why? Because there's times when This helps you grow in faith, as I said. It helps you grow. So look what Proverbs chapter 27. Proverbs chapter 27, verse 5. It says, open rebuke is better than secret love. Open rebuke is greater than secret love. We have to, sometimes that rebuke is there so that we can be corrected properly. Sometimes that rebuke is there so that we aren't led astray down our own rabbit hole. You see what I'm saying? Because there's times in our lives where we will walk in our own arrogance. And if y'all remember with David, when he saw Bathsheba and he began to mingle with her and have sex with her, and of course with her, and her husband wasn't home, and then when he called him home and ended up getting, because he got her pregnant and tried to get him to sleep with her, and he did not. And the man was like, "Nah, all the men of war, they out there. I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna relax while they're at war. I can't." And so David was sent a message by Nathan, right? And the message was very clear. Where's that at in the scripture? So I can just go to it real quick. You know where it's at, love? Anybody know exactly where that's at? Nathan rebukes David. 2 Samuel 12. Let me go to that real quick. Yeah. Okay, so let's go to 2 Samuel 12. All right, thank you, my brother. He said the book of Samuel. He on point. I mean, it's the second book of Samuel. I mean, starting from chapter 12. We just gonna start from verse 1 because I like how Nathan did this. When he was breaking this down, he used a proverb or a parable for David to rebuke himself. I mean, it's saying Yahuwah sent Nathan unto David, and he came unto him and said unto him, there were two men in one city, the one rich and the other poor. The rich man had exceeding many flocks and herds, but the poor man had nothing save one little ewe lamb, which he had brought and nourished up, and it grew up together with him and with his children. It did eat of his own meat and drank of his own cup, and lay in his bosom, and was unto him as a daughter. And there came a traveler unto the rich man, and he spared to take of his own flock and of his own herd to dress for the wayfaring man that was come unto him, but took the poor man's lamb and dressed it for the man that was come to him. And David's anger was greatly kindled against the man, and he said to Nathan, as Yahuwah lives, the man that has done this thing shall surely die. So look, he allowed him to place to actually place judgment on himself, but at the same time, correction would come along with that. I mean, because what he did was he said, you know what, I'm gonna present, and sometimes we have to ask y'all for wisdom on how to bring correction. I mean, because guess what? If you do it the wrong way, you can actually psychologically mess up someone. I mean, it depends. Like, we are given a rod of correction. Remember, we're given a rod of correction not to kill the child. I mean, we're given a rod of correction to whoop the child back into place, but not to commit child abuse. I mean, so Yah isn't gonna abuse us. He isn't gonna mistreat us, because that's what happened when you begin to use it as a tool to build fear and not respect. When you begin to use it as a tool to build fear and not respect, and when I say fear, I mean to cause a person to be terrified, because remember, fear in Hebrew, you got that fear of respect, or you got that fear of terrifying somebody to the point where they don't want to even be around you. But look what else happened here. He said, he shall restore the lamb fourfold, because he did this thing and because he had no pity. I mean, so now this is one thing I like. Whenever I do this, my wife loves me to do this. Now, you know what Nathan did next. He took that little bony finger of his and he pointed at him. He said, you are the man. When he pointed at David, boy, that did something to him. Look what it said. And now time said to David, you are the man. You. And so now, when that finger start getting pointed back at you because you were trying to point at us, because remember, a lot of times when we being corrected, the first thing we want to do is try to blame others for our mistakes. Nobody wants to accept accountability. And accountability is what YAH wants. I mean, are you accounted worthy? Huh? Will you be accounted worthy to enter in? Yeah, that's right. He did not give us the spirit of fear, spirit of love, and of a sound mind. I mean. And so when he pointed at him and said, you are the man, now, hold on now. He don't allow him to point out his own mistake, his own flaw. And so when you hear David saying, y'all create within me a clean heart, renew within me the right spirit, that's putting him at a place of humbleness. You see what I'm saying? Like that's when we find ourselves living. I found myself, that's probably the reason I slept so long. You know how you go into prayer and you be in so long, y'all begin to show you things and speak to you on things, and then it's just like, you stuck in a time loop, because it's as if time just stopped when you in the presence of Yah. I mean, even though when you get up, it might have been an hour ago when you went down, but man, by the time you get up, it's like that anointing on suck that strength out of you. I mean, but look what else he said. He said, thus says Yahuwah Elohai of Yashar, I anointed you king over Israel, over Yashar, and delivered you out of the hand of Shaul. I did this for you. Have you forgot what I done for you? Look what else he said. And I gave you your master's house and your master's women into your bosom. You had all the women. You had all the women that you needed. So why you want to go get somebody else? Huh? So look what else he's saying. He said, I gave you the house of Yashar and the house of Yehuda, and if that had been too little, I would moreover have given unto you such and such. I would have gave you more than what you could have even thought of. But look what he say right here. Go to verse 9. Wherefore have you despised the commandment? You were disobedient and did not follow instruction. I mean, you would despise the commandment of Yahuwah to do evil in his sight. You have killed Uriyahu the Shittite with the sword, and have taken his woman to be your woman, and have slain him with the sword of the children of Ammon. Now, therefore, the sword shall never depart from your house. So judgment will cast. Because remember, he said, this man shall surely die. So now, he said, the sword shall never leave his house. And then later on, you see Absalom trying to kill him and take the kingdom. You see all these different things happening. Now, did he make a covenant with David where he couldn't break? Yeah, he said that your seed shall reign forever. I mean, and we know that was the prophecy of Yahushua HaMashiach. I mean, and we know that Yahushua HaMashiach is the one that is that rod of correction, because he's the right arm of Yah. I mean, it's the right arm of Yah that brought the children of Yashar out of Egypt. I mean, and so a lot of times when we going through that period in that moment, we have to realize, look what else it says. Now, therefore, the sword shall never depart from your house, because you have despised me and have taken the woman of Uriyahu the Shittite to be your woman. Thus says Yahuwah, behold, I will raise up evil against you out of your own house, and will take your woman before your eyes and give them unto your neighbor. And he shall lie with your woman in the sight of this son. I mean, for you did it secretly, but I will do it. What? He will do it what? Open rebuke is what? Greater than secret love. See that secret love got David in trouble. But this open rebuke is about to show that when I make a commandment, that means it's meant for you to stick by it. You ought to keep that Torah. I mean, so look what he said. He said, for you did it secretly, but I will do this thing before all Yashar and before the sun. I mean, and David said unto Nathan, I have sinned against Yahuwah. Now listen, he recognized, he know it. Like, listen, if you don't start feeling conviction when you being corrected, then you need to do an inventory check on yourself. If you don't start feeling convicted by the Holy Spirit, and I'll tell you like this, it's some things that when it come on TV, I tell my wife, hey, we need to turn that off. Why? Because I start feeling convicted, because evil spirits and different things are being conjured on me. because you could see the witchcraft at play. You know what I mean? And so if I continue to allow it to just, it's gonna end up in my home. And so therefore, when I start feeling convicted, I have to cut it off. Why? Because conviction is your conscience from the Holy Spirit, which is your conscience that's letting you know, hey, this is wrong. Amen. This is wrong. And so sometimes we have to stop and we have to take a look. If my soul were wasting on this TV show, is it worth me having to go through a chastening period when I know it's wrong? Remember what it just said, those that have known that it's wrong and know my chastisement, but they still gonna despise my commandment. Well, this is what happened. So, and David said to Nathan, I have sinned against Yahuwah. And Nathan said unto David, Yahuwah also has put away your sin. You shall not die. You see that? He admitted it right away because he was convicted. I mean, and so Yah did what? He said, I put away. So he forgave him right then and there. And it's the same way with us. He'll forgive you, but you have to admit it. And it ain't just going to him, y'all forgive me for the transgression. What transgression did you commit? Huh? What was it that you did against Yah that caused you to be put in this position? I mean, look what else he said. David, and Nathan said unto David, Yahuwah also has put away your sin, you shall not die. Howbeit, because by this deed you have given great occasion to the enemies of Yahuwah to blaspheme, the child also that is born unto you shall surely die. Now, what did David do? He went into prayer and supplication. He went into fasting. And he sought Yah that maybe just perchance he may allow the child to live. I mean, that wasn't the case. Now, David still did the right thing, but guess what? He didn't come out of that room that he locked himself away in for a week. He didn't come out of there with a bad attitude. He didn't come out of there depressed. He came out of there rejoicing because he know Yah is righteous. He know Yah's righteous judgment. I mean, so and Nathan departed unto his house, and Yahuwah struck the child that Yahuwah's woman bore unto David, and it was very sick. David therefore besought Elohim for the child, and David fasted and went in and lay all night upon the earth. And the elders of his house arose and went to him to raise him up from the earth, but he would not, neither did he eat bread with them. And it came to pass on the seventh day, that the child died. And the servants of David feared. Listen, they feared to tell him because they thought he was going to be in distress. They thought he was going to be, but he was going through a chastening moment. I mean, so they feared to tell David that the child was dead, for they said, behold, while the child was yet alive, we spoke unto him, and he would not hearken unto our voice. How would he then vex himself if we tell him that the child is dead? But when David saw that his servants whispered, David perceived that the child was dead. Therefore David said unto his servants, is the child dead? And they said, he is dead. Then David arose from the earth and washed and anointed himself and changed his apparel and came into the house of Yahuwah and did what? He worshiped. He worshiped. And so that's when we find ourselves in that moment, in that place where the rod of correction is coming upon us. Don't put yourself. Listen, I know people that put themselves in the pity. I know people that quit. I know people that say, you know what, this is too hard. I ain't gonna be able to do it, but it ain't too hard. He said, I put nothing on you too hard that you can bear. And not only that, I give you brothers and sisters that you can lean on. Come on. I mean, so when we find ourselves in that boat, don't give up. Don't walk around with your head down and just allow it to declare that you're worthless. Because you're not worthless in his eyes. All he wants you to do is follow his instruction. All he wants you to do is to receive his correction. And then as you receive that chastening, as you grow, you'll learn to rejoice when that chastening comes. Because it's a teaching and learning experience. I mean, I'm on verse 20 and 2 Samuel chapter 12. All right, so then David arose from the earth and washed and anointed himself and changed his apparel and came to the house of Yahuwah and worshiped. Then he came to his own house, and when he required, they set bread before him, and he did eat. Then said his servants unto him, What thing is it that you have done? You did fast a week for the child while it was alive, but when the child was dead, you did arise and eat bread. He said, and while the child was yet alive, I fasted and wept. For I said, Who can tell whether Yahuwah will be gracious to me and that the child may live? But now he is dead. Wherefore should I fast? I mean, there's no point of going through it no more because Yahuwah's righteous judgment already went forth. So now I'm at liberty, to I have to go back to following Torah. I mean, and he said, but now he is dead, wherefore should I fast? Can I bring him back again? I should go to him, but he shall not return to me. And David comforted Bathsheba, his woman, and went in unto her and lay with her, and she bore a son, and his name was called Solomon or Solomon. And Yahuwah loved him. Listen to that. Yahuwah loved him, and he sent by the hand of Nathan the prophet, and he called his name Yedidiah because of Yahuwah. And Joab fought against Rabbah. But so y'all see that he was also granted Solomon. And Solomon was what? He was the next heir in line. That out of all David's sons, that's who he allowed to build his temple. I mean, so now I want to look at another scripture pertaining, because even in is it Yeshayahu? I want to say Yeshayahu 26 and 16, which is Isaiah 26 and 16. Look what he said. Yahuwah, in trouble have they visited you. They pour out a prayer when your chastening was upon them. We go into deeper prayer when his chastening is upon us. I mean, so as the correction is given, once again, we have to learn from it. And as we learn from it, we grow. I mean, and as we grow, we're able to see what YAH is doing on behalf of his people. I mean, so as we grow from this thing, we not only grow in wisdom, but we also grow in the impartation of spirit. I mean, because we begin to mature and we're no longer just eating drinking milk. I mean, we begin to mature and we begin to learn how to take the word and meditate on it, as we talked a couple weeks ago. And so even as we are still in our 10 days of I mean, we had it wrong, but now we're getting it right. I mean, so that doesn't mean to just because we did the 10 days of at a different time, and it just means because it started technically started at a different point, that we're just not to do it. I mean, that we're just not to keep Yom Kippur. Guess what I did? I went to my supervisor and said, hey, I normally have Wednesday off. This week, I need Friday off. I mean, I said, either you give me Friday off or I call in. One or the other. I mean, that's a day that is to be kept holy. I mean, and so that's one thing that we have to also remember is his Shabbat, his high holy days, his feast days. We have to keep them. We have to keep them holy. I mean, because that's the sign between him and his people. And so in that day and that time when he returned, I don't want to be in that number that's being reproached. I want to be in that number that's being called to meet him. I mean, and so we had to keep ourselves in the proper how could I put it? We had to keep ourselves exercised in the truth. I mean, so let's look at another one. Proverbs. I mean, Proverbs chapter 13, verse 1. Let's look what it says. A wise son hears his father's instruction. I mean, a wise son hears his father's instruction. So this goes back to what I was saying. When I didn't take his instruction, I wasn't being wise because foolishness was bound in my heart. I mean, I was still caring about the things of the world. But once you crucify that flesh and the things of the world are dead, meaning that your life of sin becomes dead, so that you are no longer just walking in the flesh, but you can walk according to the Spirit. Then you're not under Torah, but you follow Torah. Because remember what he said. He said those that rejected the stone that the builders used, it crushed them. And I don't want to be under Torah. I want to follow Torah. So a wise son hears his father's instruction, but a scorner hears not rebuke. You know, what is a scorner? A person that constantly talks back. You have people that it said a fool is right in his own eyes. So every time you trying to tell him something, he began to try to tell you something, and instead of him receiving the instruction, he rather try to give you instruction. You know what I'm saying? You have people like that, and I have a son that every time you say something to him, he got something to say back. He never just stop and listen to what you say. And so we, as the children of YAH, we have to know, just as the scripture say, 13:1, a wise son hears his father's instruction. But a scorner hears not rebuke. Now look at another one in that same area of chapter 24. Not chapter 24, I'm sorry, Proverbs 13, verse 24. It said, he that spares his rod hates his son. If you spare the rod, meaning if you are not willing to give correction, you hate your son. You hate your child. But he that loves him chases him when? Early. See, you begin to discipline them early, so then when they go out in public, they're not acting all out. They're not and so it's the same way with us. Now when we go out, we ain't doing what? Because guess what? Guess what people say when they know your mother? Man, your mother will be so disappointed in you. So it's the same way when you carry his name. When you carry his name, don't you think that disappointing your father to go out in public and you're acting of the world? You're carrying yourself like the world? Look what it said again. It said, he that spares his rod hates his son, but he that loves him chases him early. But look, and then go over to verse 14, right? Chapter 14. Go into chapter 14 and go to verse 24. It says, the crown of the wise is their riches, but the foolishness of fools is folly. It's their own destruction. The foolishness of fools is their own destruction. And so therefore, we're not willing to receive correction. It leads us to destruction. We want to be led down the path of righteousness, not down the path of destruction. The broad path is what? Broad and wide, and it leads to destruction. But the straight and narrow path, it leads you to the truth and life. And so while you're there, you receive peace, you receive joy, you begin to receive the fruits of the Spirit. And so as these things grow in you, then it should testify that YAH is with you. It should testify that his Ruach rests upon you. And so therefore, when correction comes, look what it says in Hebrews. Hebrews chapter 12, verses 6 and 8. Hebrews chapter 12, verse 6 and 8. For whom YAH loves, we're talking about how he loves again, he chastens. And he scourges every son whom he received. So whenever we're received into his fold, it just adds it go hand in hand with Matthew 23. I may go there in a second. Give me a because I love how the Spirit begin to move, and I love the reaction time when all my people start all my family start adding to the word. It begins to help us dissect it a little bit better. And we begin to dissect it. Remember when we were doing it's like doing biology. You begin to understand how the heart works. You begin to understand how the mind works. You begin to understand why the veins are the vessels that pump the blood to get to the heart, to get to the mind, so oxygen can come out. All that good stuff. And it's the same way with God's word. He begin to show us and guide us and lead us. So look what it says right here. It says, If ye endure chastity, Yah deals with you as with sons. For what son is he whom the fathers chasten not? I mean, who the fathers chasten not. But if ye be without chastisement, whereof all are partakers, then are ye bastards and not sons. And I want to be a son. I mean, I want to be a son that is recognized by the Most High. I mean, I don't want to be led astray by my own foolishness, by my own folly. I mean, oh yeah. He said they go with 23. Yeah, the book of woes. That's what I call that one the chapter of woes. Look, let's go into Matthew 23 real quick. I mean, precept upon precept, line upon line. Here it is, there it is. That's right, book of Yeshayahu. Then spoke Yahusha to the multitude in Matthew 23, and to his Talmudim, saying, the scribes and the Parashim sit in Moshe's seat, all therefore whatsoever he bids you guard, that diligently guard and do, but do not ye after their reforms and traditions. See, and so that's awesome that he said that. Start with verse 1. Yeah, that's awesome that he brought this scripture, because if you think about it, right now there's those that sit in Moses' seat. They claim, but remember, they didn't want to receive Messiah, and you still have those that don't receive Messiah. But when they and you know, that should have slapped me in the face when I realized when it was brought to my attention that we are celebrating the feast days for the fall before the fall even came in. It should have slapped me then. But then to recognize that, okay, all of them are doing it on this day, something that should have hit me then too. But so now we look at it. It said guard what they tell you to do. You know what I mean? So receive the instruction, but don't be as they are. I mean, it said don't take their reforms and their tradition. Don't do that, because that's religious. That's what I call a religious spirit. I mean, you begin to fall in line and just doing those same acts, and those acts cause separation from Yah. I mean, so look what it said. It said, "For they say and do not." They don't follow their own what they say to do. I mean, for they bind heavy burdens and grievous to be borne and lay them on men's shoulders, but they themselves will not move them with one of their fingers. That's why he said in Matthew 11 and 28, come unto me, all ye that are heavy laden, and I shall give you rest unto your soul. Because he'll take those burdens. He won't lay them on you. He'll take them from you. I mean, but all their works they do for to be seen of men, they make broad their phylacteries and enlarge the sit. Well, they enlarge the borders of their garment. I mean, and love the uppermost rooms of feasts and the chief seats in the synagogues and greetings in the markets, and to be called of men rabbi. But be not ye called rabbi, for one is your rabbi, even Mashiach. And all ye are brethren, and call no man your father upon earth, for one is your Father which is in heaven. Now to be ye called teachers, for one is your rabbi, even Mashiach. But he that is greatest among you shall be your servant. Let's say that one more time. He that is greatest among you shall be your servant. Let's say it one more time. He that is greatest among you shall be your servant. Amen. A servant learns from correction. A servant learns from obedience. I mean, and following instructions. And whosoever shall exalt himself shall be what? Abased, brought down, made low. And he that shall humble himself shall be what? Exalted, lifted up by the right hand of Yah. When my mother and father have forsaken me, he lifted me up. I mean, that's Psalm 27:10. But woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, for ye shut up the kingdom of Yahuwah against men, for ye neither go in yourselves, neither suffer ye them that are entering to go in. So see that I don't want to be a hypocrite. So that's why I prefer to come on and say, hey guys, forgive me. I was wrong in this area, but correction was given to me. So I want to make sure that you're not led astray by anything that I'm teaching. So that's why we have to be able to do that, because you don't want to be a hypocrite. You don't want to be what is a hypocrite? An actor, a pretender. When you look at TV and you see those folks acting, yeah, what? If you see that person because of the role they play on TV, you gonna take them at that. Oh, look at it, that Bobby Jones, man, he killed all them people on that movie so and so. They don't even know his real name. It was Denzel Washington. They don't even know his real name, but yet they sit there and watch these movies and different things, and they allow that character to get soaked into their mind, and therefore now they have that form of hypocrisy, because that actor in their eyes is seen as that character. I mean, so it said, woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, for ye devour widows' houses, and for a pretense make long prayer. Therefore ye shall receive the greater damnation. Woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, for ye compass sea and land to make one proselyte, and when he is made, ye make him twofold more the child of Gehenna or hell than yourselves. Woe unto you, ye blind guides, which say, whosoever shall swear by the temple, it is nothing. But whosoever shall swear by the gold of the temple, he is a debtor. Ye fools and blind, ye whether is greater the gold or the temple that sanctifies the gold. And whosoever shall swear by the altar, it is nothing. But whosoever swears by the gift that is upon it, he is guilty. Ye fools and blind, for whether is greater the gift of the altar that sanctifies the gift, whoso therefore shall swear by the altar swears by it and by all things thereon. And whoso shall swear by the temple swears by it and by him that dwells therein. And he that shall swear by heaven swears by the throne of Yahweh and by him that sit thereon. Woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, for you pay tithe of mint and anise and cumin, and have omitted the weightier matters of the Torah, judgment, mercy, and belief. These ought ye to have done, and not leave the other undone. See that they'll do the small matters. Tyler Perry's biggest one dressing that woman's clothes is an abomination to Yahoo. I mean, and so yeah, so everybody see him. Oh, it's Medea. Yeah, I got you, my brother. So look at what he's saying right here. They'll handle the small matters. They'll do the small things, but the things, the weightier things of the Torah, that's no problem. You know, his grace is sufficient. Ain't that what they teach in the institution? The church, they teach that. Oh, don't worry, his grace it'll overtake. You just have to, make sure that you keep coming to church. Make sure you pay your tithe. Yeah, been there, done that. And then next thing you know, there's no deliverance. Everybody running down, up and around aisles, falling out, sweating, getting up from the ground the same way they was when they fell down. Just as big as had just the same unclean spirit in there that they had before. I mean, starting from verse 24 right now, still in 23. So he said, ye blind guys which strain at a gnat. Listen, they swing at a gnat, trying to get the gnat. Trying to get the gnat. Strain at a gnat, and swallow a camel. Man, it'd be easy to swat the camel. Anyway, the point is they swatting at a gnat. You know how big a gnat is. It barely, it's so small. You ain't going to be able to catch that. And you never can swallow a camel. That's too huge. You ain't supposed to eat that anyway. It's unclean meat. But he was making a point. He was saying the small thing you decide to try to, yeah. But the bigger matters, you rather try to swallow that and cast that aside. No, you don't do that. So look what he said. He said, woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, for ye clean the outside of the cup and of the platter, but within they are full of extortion. You hear that? Extortion and excess. You blind Pharisee, cleanse first that which is within the cup and the platter, that the outside of them may be clean also. Woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, for ye are like unto whited sepulchres, which indeed appear beautiful outward, but are within full of dead men's bones and of all uncleanness. Even so, Ye also outwardly appear righteous unto men, but within ye are full of hypocrisy and iniquity. Have you ever met people like that, where they seem one way, and so that's why when I come to y'all in these videos, you might not meet me in person, you might not see me in person, but I'm always gonna be the character on, same character on and off. If I find myself at work and I see an area where I could be corrected or I can give correction, then I'm gonna do it. I'm not. It's hard for me to sit there quiet if I'm being convicted of something and just allow it to go by. I mean, so I don't want to appear righteous, but then it's just a facade after everything else is said and done. I mean, so it said, "Woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, because ye build the tombs of the prophets and garnish the sepulchres of the righteous, and say, if we had been in the days of our fathers, we would not have been partakers with them in the blood of the prophets. Wherefore ye be witnesses unto yourselves that ye are the children of them which killed the prophets. Fill ye up the measure of your fathers, ye serpents, ye generation of vipers. How can ye escape the damnation of Gehenna or hell? Wherefore, behold, I send unto you prophets and wise men and scribes, and some of them ye shall kill and crucify, and some of them shall be scourged in your synagogues and persecute them from city to city." See, he would talk about, well, we're going to come after him. Because didn't they do this to his Talmudim? They did it to his disciples. They did it to anybody that was proclaiming the name of Yahusha. They said, you do not proclaim his name in this city. You do not proclaim his name anywhere. I mean, so that upon you may come all the righteous blood shed upon the earth, from the blood of righteous Abel unto the blood of Zechariah, son of Berechiah, whom ye slew between the temple and the altar. I mean, I say unto you, all these things shall come upon this nation. O Jerusalem, you that kill the prophets and stone them, which are sent unto you, how often would I have gathered you as children together, even as a hen gathers her chicken under her wing? I mean, and ye would not. Behold, your house is left unto you desolate. For I say unto you, ye shall not see me henceforth till ye shall say, blessed is he that comes in the name of Yahuwah. I mean, yes, Yahusha is he's chastening the scribes and the Pharisees. And I mean, we have to read those scriptures and we have to protect them ourselves. Do you have a scribe and a Pharisee like spirit? I mean, and those is that book of woes or that chapter of woes, does it determine whether you're righteous or wicked? I mean, does it point that out? You know what I mean? In your life, the way that you live. So when we're going through our chastening period, rejoice, because he deals with you as he deals with a son, not if he didn't do it, he said that you'll be a bastard. And I'd rather be one of his sons than a bastard that doesn't know him. I mean, so that y'all, thank y'all for joining me today. And I ask, if you want to support this ministry, then click down below on the little thing. But I also do something here called a praise offering. So everybody that is willing and able and can over there type in that little praise offering over there. If you want to do it at home, right there where you at, give a praise unto Yahuwah. Amen. Hallelujah. Yahuwah Eloheinu. Amen. Yahuwah Elohim Yahuwah. I love Yah. I mean, Shema Yisrael Yahuwah Elohim Yahuwah. I mean, so we have to praise, we have to worship, we have to give him honor and glory. I mean, and we just thank him for all that he's doing in our life, and we just give glory unto y'all. And then another thing, y'all do that praise offering. If you don't mind, hit that like button up there to pass on that praise to y'all, because that's where it goes up to y'all. I mean, so I want to give honor and glory unto my King, my Master, my Savior, Yahushua HaMashiach. And I love you. Yahuwah loves you. Don't forget to say thank you, Yahushua. Oh yeah, I already subscribed to both of their channels, my brother. I got both of them, so I've been looking at them. So I appreciate that, GP Monster 831. I have been looking at them. So yeah, much knowledge there. So thank y'all for that and for coming across and knowing each and every one of you, Medical Flowers. Phenomenal. My wife there, my aunt, my sister, everybody that's on here. So praise y'all. And once again, Shabbat Shalom. Love you. Yahuwah loves you. Don't forget to say thank you, Yahusha. Talk to y'all soon.